Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black Logic. So President Trump has issued pardons for approximately 1,500 individuals convicted in connection with the January 6th Capitol riot, Capitol protests. Now, this decision has been met with a spectrum of reactions, from staunch support among his base to sharp criticism from various political and civic groups. I wonder what a lot of people in Donald Trump's so-called base, those people who share some of the same ideology, these are some of the people who are real strong advocates of backing the blue. And I guess I just wonder sometimes if there's a little bit of infighting because some of the people who showed up at the Capitol, whether it be for a protest, insurrection, or riot, police officers did get harmed. So I wonder what their thoughts about that as well. Because supposedly, in this oversweeping pardon, there were people sentences was commuted, or they were pardoned altogether of people who potentially harmed police officers during that altercation. So that's why I asked that question. I don't ask that question without merit. Which brings me on immigration. Now, President Trump also signed a series of them of executive orders aimed at reshaping U.S. immigration policy. Notably, he declared a national emergency at the southern border. That easy. It amazes me how when I hear certain political, let's just say it, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, when they was in office, they will always say how their hands were tied, like they couldn't do anything. And the entire time I was stating executive order, executive order, executive order. And what does Trump come in and do? He signs a series of over almost 200 executive orders or actions that executive orders have. But in his first day, I think he signed the most that ever any president have signed. I think he signed about 11. Someone can quote that for me, put that in the chat. But he's trying to get done. He's trying to get America back to where it once was. And he's trying to do it very quickly. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. And this is a move that really paves the way for deploying additional troops. See, he called it a national emergency. So this is a federal level emergency. He can actually deploy federal troops on the border, because he also signed an executive order labeling and designating Mexican cartels or Central American cartels as terrorist groups. Again, that deals within federal jurisdiction and federal prediction of what they essentially need to do during that time when it comes to crimes that are international nature. And people are now understanding the gravity of this, of what this legislation really means. And it's important that we do. At least I believe that. Also, there was another executive order that's been signed to end birthright citizenship for children, okay, of undocumented migrants or undocumented illegal immigrants. So it's almost kind of reversing the DACA legislation that was signed by Obama. Good. A lot of these legislations has hurt America, but it's really have hurting black folk. Let me tell you. And they told us, Democrats told us, liberals told us, people who go from middle to right or middle to left, all told us, no, that's just those bad Republicans saying that illegal immigration is going to hurt you guys. Hey, you guys want these jobs when you come over? Well, what about us? we got social programs for you guys. We're going to give you Section 8 housing, and we're going to give you EBT instead of empowering you for you can do for yourself. We, the government, is going to provide for you. You don't have to do anything but stay in these neighborhoods. Okay. Oh, no, you can't have a man in the house. No. Got to be separate. He either is going to be homeless or he's going to do some sort of illegal activity. And then we'll have him in jail. Great. So they kept telling us that illegal immigrants wasn't taking jobs. And of course, they come over here for very low skill work majority of the time, building houses. They have maybe one trade or they're learning on the job. And we have been brainwashed to accept this somehow, where no other country in the world does this except for America. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But I just feel as though I don't know why people see a natural decline in the country and still support a political party that was for that. And here's the thing. I'm not on the right or the left. You know how I am. In a significant shift, the U.S. has once again withdrawn from Paris climate, according as well as the WHO, the World Health Organization. Now, these actions signal a return to the administration earlier stance on international agreements and prompted varied reactions both domestically and abroad. Good. A lot of these organizations that America either established or is a major part of were always just spending money. And I think because this country, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but America is what you call a monetary sovereign. That's why we can still operate and be the most powerful, richest country on earth, and we're still $36 trillion in debt. I mean, most of us can't fathom $1 trillion. Now, some people who are good with math, yeah, they could fathom 1 million. You can fathom 1 billion. But when I tell you that $1 trillion is 1,000 billion, your mind just explodes. You're okay with, oh yeah, 300 billion? Oh, that's a lot. 500 billion, that's a half a trillion. But when you're thinking of it like that, that's a lot of money. $36 trillion in debt. So $36,000 billion in debt. I know it sounds weird, but when you look, it's such a large number. And we're still operating. That's because America's a monetary sovereign. But nonetheless, we still have a debt, right? So again, it's usually Republicans or conservative-minded political pundits that sought to streamline the Fed of America. But this right here has been the most I've seen a president work, even before he was in the presidency. And I'm talking about before Bill Clinton. I haven't seen a president work this hard. And what I mean by he's working hard is because he was already speaking with world leaders before he was in office. He was speaking with the prime minister at the time, Justin Trudeau. He was speaking to Vladimir Putin. He was speaking to Zelensky. He was speaking to Netanyahu. He was speaking to all these world leaders before he took office. He is the one who influenced, he's the one who influenced the ceasefire. So again, you don't have to be a fan favorite of Donald Trump. Just look at what he's doing. I'm personally not a fan favorite of Donald Trump, but I wasn't a fan favorite of Joe Biden. But when I look at the actions that he's doing, I mean, the man hand has to be hurting. Look at that stack of executive orders. First day. You see that stack down there to your top left or bottom left rather? Yeah. I have respect for that. You don't have to like the man. You don't like his personality. You don't have to like the way he talks, whatever. I respect that work, though. Even before he got in the office, he like, we're going to shut this down. We're going to shut this country down. We're going to do a reboot. We're going to stop having people to take advantage of America. Maybe it's the Marine in me. Maybe it's the soldier in me. I'm torn. Because being a Marine and being a soldier is two different mindsets. When I was in the Marine Corps, it was kill, kill, kill. And when I was in an army, it was like kill, kill. I'm just joking. I go back and forth. I make fun of both services because I was part of both of them. But you got to have fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's all for fun. Also, President Trump has reclassified federal employees, making it easier to hire and fire. Fire is the key word here. Within the federal workforce. This move is part of a broader effort to streamline government operations and increase accountability with federal employees. Now, those people who've already retired out of the federal government, you're lucky. You're lucky because for a very long time, a lot of people wanted to transition out of the military, out of the Coast Guard, and work for the federal government. And even people who, in certain groups of people, demographics, etc., will always want to get a government job. Why? Because it's always like it took an act of Congress to fire someone who was a federal employee. They really had to mess up. Like, I've heard crazy stories of people not losing their jobs because it's almost impossible to fire a federal employee. They have to do something really, really egregious. You have to have a track record of misconduct for such a long time. You got to have a docket of violations or something to fire a federal worker. Donald Trump said, no more. No more. You don't do a good job, you don't follow the rules, you're fired. But another key word with this is he's stating that he's making it easier to hire someone for federal. Because here's the thing, I don't know if you guys ever try to apply for a job for the federal government. It's very difficult. I think I went to USA.jobs.gov or something like that. And they wanted not just a 2-page resume. They wanted from the day you were born. They wanted from the day you was born until that day that you turned in your resume. So I literally submitted a 7-page resume of all the different jobs, all the different positions I've had, all the different experience. Like, don't leave nothing out. If you got a volunteer award in a 3rd grade, put that down. Yeah, the federal government wanted to know all that. And I was like, why is it so different from private to government? Like, very, very difficult. Now, here's my thing. Some people are like, oh, they got to make sure. No, they can just do a security clearance. A security clearance costs the government supposedly around anywhere to $30,000 to $40,000 to do an entire background check. They go into your neighborhoods. They talk to people you know. They call people you know. Because I went through an extensive background check for my clearance. I forgot how long they took. I think they took 6 months to a year to do the investigation. But I'm so boring. They were like, we actually finished this like 9 months ago, but we had to wait. You don't have anything on your docket. I was like, cool. But yeah, it's very hard to work for the federal government. It's very hard. This struck my interest here because the Trump administration has announced a $500 billion investment in AI, also known as artificial intelligence. He's investing $500 billion in the infrastructure through a new partnership named Stargate. Wow. Where are all the tech people at now? You know, I guess I know I was talking about Trump to a friend of mine. He like, oh, you like Trump? I was like, no, no, no. I don't like Trump. I like what he's doing. I'm not gonna like everything he's doing, because you know what people would do if you jump on the bandwagon? You're like, oh, see what he did? Listen, a lot of us are now getting more political as we get a little older and we understand the dynamics of it, right? But again, I don't like to throw the baby out with the bathwater. If he's doing something good that I believe he's doing something good, I'm going to try to break it down to the people. If I believe he's doing something bad, I'm going to do the same in kind. Transparency, right? Free speech, right? See? Remember, this is the new administration about transparency in government, number 1. 2, free speech. What your grandmother used to tell you? Sometimes your words can haunt you. Sometimes your words can haunt you. But nonetheless, he has announced a new partnership named Stargate, featuring industrial leaders from SoftBank, OpenAI, and don't forget that OpenAI are the Chat GPT creators. So this is going to be large, and Oracle. So when I look at SoftBank, I was really trying to figure out what SoftBank does. I forgot. I know it's easy to say they're in banking, but there are some other lines of business as well. And OpenAI, we know what ChatGPT is, a large language model. There's a lot of them out there. You have Liner AI, you have Chatbox, you have Claudia. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. So you have Copilot by Microsoft, Gemini by Google. I know I'm probably missing a few, but yeah, there's just a lot out there. You have Gronk by X, also known as Twitter. So yeah, there's a lot of large language models. So I guess he's doing the right thing when we're talking about, again, he's building a artificial infrastructure through a program called Stargate. He's investing $500 billion in this. So I think he sees the future in AI, and he's not gonna wait. He's gonna be a very busy president. I'm trying to tell you. And also the SEC launched a new crypto task force aimed at setting a sensible regulatory path for cryptocurrencies, marking a shift from the previous administration approach. So they're starting a crypto task force. And that probably is going to fall under the program called Stargate. And every time I say Stargate, I don't know if you guys are around my age or not, probably older, I don't know. Remember Stargate SG-1 when MacGyver used to play the lead role? And then it was a blonde lady in there, Amanda Tapping. That was a good show. I think I watched all 10, 15, 20 seasons of it. And who knows, when I get a little older, a little fatter, and a little grayer, you know what we do. We just watch the reruns. I remember this was a good show. This was a good show back in the day. What happened? I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to live that long. Yes, I do. Now, the flurry of executive actions has already sparked legal challenges and political debates. 18 Democratic-led states have filed a lawsuit against the executive order ending birthright citizenship, arguing that it violates the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Moreover, global reaction to these policies, and that's the only ones that the Democrats really fought back against, all the executive orders that he signed, is the one that is getting close or is close, or rather violating the 14th Amendment. And that's why you have the Supreme Court. That's why you have the Supreme Court. They have to read the executive order. Then they have to read the statements from all these Democratic congresspersons of while they're filing this lawsuit, okay, for this legislation to end. Why are they doing that? Because they believe that it violates the 14th Amendment. And if anybody fill you with the 14th Amendment, then you know exactly what they're referring to. That's interesting. Let me read some of your comments here. I see you have Jermaine Anderson. Good evening. Trump declared a national energy emergency. Yep, indeed he did. We said that last night. Yep, he trumped 200 executive orders. And I believe, again, the way the wording was, because I was trying to find all 200 executive orders. What I gathered from that was when I was reading, I think I read like 4 articles on it, but it was stating how he signed executive orders that had over 200 actions. You see how they worded that? He signed executive orders that had over 200 actions, meaning that he probably could have only signed 15 or 20, but the actions were over 200 in those executive orders. Because again, what's an action? A task? I don't know. A milestone? A goal? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, back to the office. She states, Janet says, Trump got busy last night. He said all federal workers back to the office. I know. I started laughing. Because I only look for remote work. I started laughing because I don't care. I will never go back into the office. Not gonna do it, won't do it. I would be a sedentary stay-at-home truck driver if I could. I just drive virtually all day. And that's probably what it's going to be. Have you guys thought about that? No, seriously. Have you guys, now they're going to have autonomous driving. They're not going to even need people. But have you ever thrown around the idea that you can be a virtual truck driver? Meaning that you're at home and the truck is driving, but you're driving the truck. You're not in the truck. You're driving virtually through a 3D, 4D world. And I know people like, that's crazy. That would never happen because people would be so distracted with kids and doing all those sorts of things. I get it. I just thought about it. All right. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining me here this evening. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button on the way out, share it on your social media, and I'll see you guys in the morning. This is Black Logic.